Hello. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Brittany, and today we have another net worth update for January 2023. Let's get into the numbers. To recap from December, my net worth was $123,428. So we're going to start with the equity that I have in the condo that I own, and that sits at $49,972. This is an increase from the previous month of $437. Next up on the list is my DCPP, or Defined Contribution Pension Plan, and that sits at a balance of $3,482. That's an increase from December of $216, and that's just coming from the market. My RRSP, or Registered Retirement Savings Plan, sits at a balance of $47,604. That's an increase from December of $2,963. Again, that is coming from the market. And before we move on to the TFSA, I will mention that pretty much 100% of what I have invested for retirement for long-term savings is in an equity fund called VEQT. It is the Vanguard All Equity Fund. My TFSA sits at a balance of $11,750. This is a decrease from December of $15,312. If you haven't seen my other videos, I am moving abroad to New Zealand in about a month, actually 3 weeks. So a lot of the money that has gone down in my TFSA, I've actually been saving up and taken out in preparation to move to New Zealand for paying for things like flights and accommodations. A big portion of that decrease is also because I paid off my line of credit. So that line item is no longer on my net worth list because I paid it off in early January. My vehicle is still valued at $5,000. I'm hoping that I can get about $7,000 for it. I am going to be selling it in the next couple of weeks in preparation for my move. I also have a couple of new line items this month. The first one is my rental e-fund. So this is going to cover anything in my condominium while I'm abroad because I am renting it out. So if any appliances crap out or if there's any kind of major repairs, I have a little bit of money in here to cover that. And that currently sits at a balance of $1,042, but I will be adding a few $100s every month to this fund. The next item on the list is cash. So I have $4,400 sitting in cash. This is mainly for New Zealand. It's more of like an emergency fund. So that brings our grand total for net worth in January 2023 to $123,250. This is a decrease from December of $178. A lot of my accounts, especially my longer term investments in that VEQT equity fund, have been doing very well in the last month. And the decrease is really coming from that $15,000 that went partially to paying off my line of credit and then partially to paying for a few things in preparation to move to New Zealand. Now let's move into some life updates. Get your coffee. So we are less than 3 weeks away from moving to New Zealand. We are extremely excited for this adventure. This is something I've wanted to do since just after high school, and it's finally happening like 13 years later. We have 4 months booked at different Airbnbs, so these are already paid for. The first month, we're going to be staying in an area called Mount Eden, which is just, I think, southwest-ish of Auckland. The second month, we're going to be staying in an area called Red Beach, which is just like north of Auckland, right along the water. That's going to be so amazing. The third month, we're staying downtown Auckland in the CBD. If you haven't seen the news or you don't know, Auckland's going through some pretty major flooding right now, and it's in a state of emergency. We're not really sure if that's going to affect our travel plans, but we are going to be following up with our Airbnb hosts, making sure that they're all right, and if we need to make other arrangements, then we will. But that is currently the plan. And then the fourth month, we're going to be staying in an area called Burnham, which is just southwest, I believe, of Christchurch. It's like a 20-minute drive outside of Christchurch. So we're very much looking forward to that. Our flights are booked, so we're all set. Like, my cat, who you saw earlier, is going to be going to my brother's, so I'm going to be heading back to Ontario for a little bit next weekend, just for a couple of nights to bring her there. And we're in the process of getting rid of pretty much everything. I would say about like 90% of our stuff we are selling or giving away We're going to be storing a few items in our storage unit in the condo building that we live in, but for the most part, we're just getting rid of everything, and it's felt so good to declutter and get rid of stuff. Like, I didn't realize how much stuff we've actually accumulated since moving into this place. We've pretty much filled this place up to the brim, and there are a lot of items that I don't even really like or like know why I bought in the first place. So it's been a good exercise for me to like get rid of a bunch of stuff because I want to be more conscious going forward of like the things that I actually bring into my home and make it more intentional and things that I want to keep for a long time, not just random items that I buy because they're on sale or because it's a good deal or whatever. And in moving to New Zealand, you guys probably know that I will be drawing down my portfolio. So I'm not too concerned about this because I've put this trip off, I've put this adventure off for a really long time just because of things like opportunity cost or spending the money or whatever. And I think that that was a big mistake. So, my goal or my plan is to stay above that $100,000 net worth mark while we're traveling. And I think I'll be able to do that, especially with going to New Zealand. I'll be at a net worth of around 123,000. I'm not planning on like dipping deeply into that. If you don't know, our plan is to travel for 2 to 3 years. The first 2 years will be in New Zealand on a working holiday visa. And then the next year or whatever time after that will be split in between countries like Scotland, other parts of Europe, maybe even New York City. There's a few places on my list that I'd like to see, places that I'd like to go to for a longer amount of time than just like a week or two. We do still have lots to do. There's still a lot of things we need to sell and get rid of or just tidy up and pack away, but I think we're making good headway. We've been decluttering for probably the last 3 months, I would say. It's been a lot easier than trying to cram everything in the last couple of weeks. If you haven't noticed, I have been uploading more. I'm trying the 2 per week thing, and I'm trying a little bit more of the travel style content. I do still want to make financial focused content because that is why I started my channel. I am not really on the fire path at this point. Let's say I'm taking a little break from it. And I like the idea of doing the Coast Fire thing. If you haven't seen my other videos talking about Coast Fire, I'll link them here. Basically, I want to do all of the things that I would do in retirement now. So I'm taking this sort of like mini retirement, a few years to travel instead of waiting until later in life to do it. But I still will be making monthly update videos like this one. And I will always include things like financials in any kind of travel content, how much things cost if we're going to a certain destination. Like when I watch travel content, I want to know how much was that hotel? How much were your flights to get there? How much was that meal? How much was that tour? How much was that boat trip? And not a lot of people really get into those details. So I am making it a point to focus on like financial first travel content. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this monthly update. Leave me a comment down below about how your January was, if you also saw some good upturn in the market, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.